Good evening, Rams, and welcome to this episode of Humans of CSU. I'm your host, Emma Iannacone, and today I'm sitting down with the head of the journalism department, Greg Luft. How are you doing today, Greg?
Doing great, thanks.
Great. Well, thank you for joining me today. So, as I understand, it's the 50th anniversary of the Journalism and Media Communications Department at CSU.
That's true. The department actually kind of got a start before it was an official program. The English department started offering technical writing classes about 10 years before the department was started. And interest continued to grow in journalism and technical communication, which was kind of our different specialty than some of the other schools in Colorado had. So the dean at the time asked Floyd Shoemaker, who actually was a former Collegian editor with his wife, Connie, to create a department, because by then Floyd came back as a professor. So they put together and they worked and created the official department was created in 1968.
Oh, wow. So it was kind of pressure from student media to create the journalism department?
Well, just students in general. There's a lot of interest in professional writing, especially. The University of Colorado had a journalism department, and so CSU needed to create something that was a little bit different because they didn't want duplication. So the department was named Technical Journalism, which implied the combination or the connection between technical writing, which is very oriented toward corporations, and then also including journalism. And over time, that just continued to develop as a program.
Yeah, and you've been part of the program for quite a few years, correct?
Right. I was actually an undergrad at CSU from 1974 to 1979, and then I left and worked in the business, and then I came back in 1988 to teach. So I'm starting my 31st year in the Department of Journalism as a faculty member / administrator, but I also had 5-year plan as a student, as an undergraduate.
Wow. So what changes have you seen in the department?
Very dramatic changes. I think when I came back to start teaching in '88, there were 12 full-time faculty members in the department and a few part-time instructors. Now we're at, I think, 22 full-time faculty members and another 20 or so part-time instructors. In fact, between the PhD students, the faculty, part-time faculty, and full-time faculty together, and the staff, we have 64 people working in the department. That does not count graduate teaching assistants who also are helping to teach classes. So it's much bigger, much more variety in the kinds of classes we teach. We had concentrations in public relations, television news, news editorial, and computer-mediated communication. But there's so many broad areas, we kind of collapsed that curriculum and created a converged group. We're now seeing some problems with that, and that is students finding the specific track that they want to get involved in. So once again, we're going through curriculum revision this year, and we expect that to take all year, but we'll probably have some major changes that'll just kind of help funnel folks into the area they're most interested in.
Yeah, I feel like in journalism, it's such a changing industry, so I feel like you probably have seen quite a few changes throughout the years, especially with the advent of the internet.
Yeah. The internet completely changed everything for the business of newspapers, for the business of television. Instead of 3 networks, now there are thousands of networks where you can watch television. Newspapers obviously have really struggled to keep up with the loss of advertising. Meanwhile, we've struggled to create the kind of courses that really are meaningful for students who are graduating. We have created 27 or 28 new courses in the last 10 years. I just left a meeting with one of our faculty members, Michael Humphrey, and he has 3 or 4 more new classes that he thinks we should be teaching or we can teach, and that's just one faculty member. So there's so much detail in determining what is the best thing to be teaching students when they leave. But it's funny that when you go back to the basics, everybody across the country still believes that writing is the key component. And I always tell students that if you can write well, people will think you're smart, whether you are or not. And that's kind of funny, but it is actually true. If you're a good writer, you really can take a lot of steps ahead.
So what are we expecting for the 50th anniversary celebration?
We really talked a lot about what to do for the 50th birthday. That's a big thing for a department at CSU. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a day of panels where We've asked all of our alumni to come back if they can, and we're waiting to see who signs up by next week, and then we're going to create panels based on their expertise. So we'll have a full day of panels on Friday, October 19th, and so there will be 8 different panels. So we'll probably put together panels on television, advertising, public relations, kind of emerging trends in media, and then we'll figure out who else is coming back. We'll have a luncheon where we'll have a keynote speaker, and then we're going to have a dinner program where we're going to recognize all of the folks who've come back, including former faculty. We'll have a reception, we'll have a dinner, that will probably be emceed by a couple of our graduates, still talking to make sure 1 or 2 of them can come back. And then we're going to have a watch party for the Boise State versus CSU game. And it'll be great because we'll be in the stadium in the hoity-toity part of the stadium, the top floor, what I call the penthouse, and we'll get to watch the game, and it'll be a great time for us all to be able to converse and get to know each other really well, because there's no set program. We'll get to mingle and do all that kind of thing. So it'll be about 16 hours, I think, and I think it'll really be good for the department to get everybody together.
That's awesome. What do we know of any notable alumni that'll be coming back for the celebration?
Well, one of the guest speakers that we want, and I'm not sure whether he will be the lunch keynote or whether he'll speak at the dinner, and that is Eugene Daniels, who was here in the studio 5 years ago with Campus TV. Actually graduated, 2013. So he just got a job at Politico, which is one of the top, online reporting organizations for covering politics nationally. And he was a real character when he was in school, and he's even more so now. So we're looking forward to him coming back. Sam Johnston, who is the publisher of the Aspen Times, is going to come back, and we think that she's going to be one of the co-hosts for the dinner. She's also been the executive director of the Colorado Press Association. And we have a smattering of other folks we're hoping to come back. We don't think Charlie Daggett, who's going to come back, he's the CBS News correspondent in London. He's been our keynote before at one of our media festivals. So a lot of folks are just now kind of committing, but we'll have a great crowd.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to it. I'll hopefully be in attendance. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight, Greg. I really appreciate you coming on. Don't go anywhere, Rams, because up next we're going to take a look at the CSU Swing Dance Society and their impact on students.